WOD 2, which is the Bella complex. We're going to show an example of what an RX Bella complex would be, and then also what the complex would be if you guys are going to be scaled or co-ed. All right, so Rebecca's going to start with the RX version. So it's going to be a squat clean, followed by a shoulder to overhead, followed by a front squat, and then finishing with another shoulder to overhead. So that would be the RX standards. All right, and then the scaled and co-ed, it can be a power clean. You can still squat clean it if you want, but it doesn't have to be a squat clean. Followed by a shoulder to overhead, and a front squat, and a shoulder to overhead. All right, so we're going to break down the movement one by one. So we're going to start with the clean. All right, RX standards, we have a squat clean. So the hips must pass all the way down below parallel, and then she must show full extension at the top. There has to be a visible pause between the squat clean and the shoulder to overhead. It can't be a combination. All right, so that would have been a good rep. Just going to show a bad rep now. All right, not reaching parallel, that would be a bad rep. All right, we're going to show a secondary bad rep with not pausing in between the movement. So if she goes right into a thruster, that would not count either. All right, you cannot combine the movement. So it has to be a squat clean, show full extension, and then the shoulder to overhead. We'll do a touch and go. All right, we're also going to talk about a touch and go. So if she comes to full extension and then goes into her shoulder to overhead, perfectly fine. All right, she showed full extension, she finished the squat clean, and then initiated the start of the shoulder to overhead. All right, now we're going to move on into the shoulder to overhead. All right, so here's the stand up for the shoulder to overhead. She's going to dip and drive. It can be a push press. It can be a push jerk. It can be a strict press. All right, it can be a split jerk. It can be a squat jerk. Yes, all right, as long as we're showing full lockout and control at the top. All right, then going into, oh yes, if you're doing a squat, or sorry, a split jerk, feet must come back together to show that lockout and control at the top. So feet have to come back to the start. That would be a no rep, all right? She didn't show control at the top, feet need to come back together, all right? Moving on into the front squat, all right? Hips must pass below the knees, so below parallel, and then below the extension at the top, all right? And then she would finish again with another shoulder to overhead. Same standards that we just talked about. The only difference in this complex between the RX and a scaled and co-ed is that the RX athletes must squat clean that first rep. Scaled athletes and co-ed athletes, you will have the option to either power or squat clean. You guys can decide. We're not going to make you squat clean that first rep. Okay, we're going to go over one more thing. So if Rebecca wanted to redo a rep mid-complex, all right? So let's say she does a good squat clean, she goes for a shoulder to overhead, and maybe she fails that rep. She knows it's not a good rep. She doesn't have to restart the complex, but she can redo that rep so that it's a good rep. All right? So in the middle of the complex, if she wanted to, she could redo a rep. We're going to show it for the front squat also. So maybe if she squats, she doesn't make it all the way below parallel. She can redo that rep to make sure it's a good rep. All right? And then continue on with the complex. You don't have to start from the beginning, as long as the bar stays in that position. If she were to do a shoulder to overhead, and it was a bad rep, all right, and then she dropped the bar down to do the hang position, she can't clean it back up and redo it, all right? As long as that bar stays in position, she can redo the rep, all right? Otherwise, if the bar moves out of position, if it comes down to the hang, then she would have to start the complex over from the clean. All right? Each athlete is going to have a total of 12 minutes combined, so you guys can decide. Athletes can interchange and do one rep at a time. The co-ed athletes will have a female bar as well as a men's bar. They can choose to use, put the girl on the female bar and then the guy on the men's bar. They'll have the same amount of weight as any other team, so they'll have to divide the weight between the two or maybe change plates back and forth. Or for co-ed athletes, the female can use the men's bar if that just makes it easier as far as weight change. All right?